It is time for this American to go to the Boxing Day test of cricket. Hey, what's up you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Ashleigh here. So it was my first Boxing Day test match. I've only been to one cricket match before. It was part of a T20 down in Hobart. So I tried my best to learn as much as I could so that I could go to the cricket and understand what was going on. And here's what happened. But first, I want to tell you something super exciting. I am doing streaming on this app called Whatnot. It's recently done a beta launch over here in Australia. It is a live streaming auctioning app. I am selling some Pokemon cards. So if you want to come say hello, if you sign up using my link in the description, you do get $15 free credit. And then I get a little kickback as well, so it'd be much appreciated. Even if you don't like Pokemon, there's so many other things on the app. And yeah, it's becoming more and more popular here in Australia as like the main launch comes. So yeah, make sure you follow me on there, check me out. I will be streaming pretty regularly and it's been a lot of fun. I did my first stream the other day, so make sure you check it out. Time to go to the Boxing Day test over at the MCG right here in Melbourne. We decided to try for tickets for day 4 of the test. We originally were gonna go, at least try and go to the Boxing Day, day 1, but tickets were insane, and so yeah, this is day 4. Heading into the MCG was super convenient, going from all the public transport, which is one thing that I really love about not only the location of the MCG, but just the Melbourne transport network itself. It was really cool to see on the way in how many people were supporting both sides. Definitely made it a bit more exciting that it wasn't just like everyone going and rooting for Australia. I did try my best to generally keep up with what was happening with the test in the previous days and was excited to head in and test my knowledge to see how much of it I actually knew what was going on. For context, I grew up a big baseball fan over in the States and recently watched a video explaining cricket from the perspective of a baseball fan, and I highly recommend if, like me, you are looking at it like I don't understand what an over is, what an out is. I'm most definitely not an expert, as you will very clearly see in this video, as I will continue to point out things that I'm like, what is that? That makes no sense. Okay, let's do it. American takes on the Boxing Day test cricket. Seats for pretty much any other day in the test was pretty easy to get, and it seemed like a lot of seats were still open. These weren't our seats, but just to give like a quick little overview. Of course, first, you guessed it, what did we do? Well, we got in a really long line and got a coffee. I was quite happy, but also not surprised considering, yes, this is Melbourne, that there was industry beans all across the stadium. Very Melbourne-esque to have like a top roaster having stands all across the stadium, so was quite happy with that. Another thing that I noticed quite quickly was how upfront all the stands were for allergens and dietaries, which, being dairy-free, I was extremely appreciative of. Just a cheeky little look at the menu in case you go to the MCG and want to see what coffee you can get. Went to our seats and again was really impressed with just the view and just to be reminded how massive the MCG is. And yes, Taylor Swift did sell this out for 3 nights and I was there for one of them, and that was the last time I was at the MCG, so it was quite emotional in that sense. But I had a really interesting time figuring out how this camera on a string thing worked. It like raised and went around and it was very amusing. First however many overs, I was just mesmerized with how it worked. Like, look at it go. Look at it go. Just the engineering behind it. Like, I get it because it's so massive, but coming from baseball where this is not a thing in the slightest, or I don't know if this is common in other sports and I'm just being quite ignorant, please let me know down in the comments, but I had a blast just looking at this and marveling at the engineering. That's the science brain in me, I guess. In the US, it is quite custom, like under your seats, to just like leave rubbish, and it's workers that come around to clean it up after. Is that a thing in Australia? Because I noticed it was pretty clean throughout the whole game, which I totally respect, like, and you know, put all my rubbish away when I was done with it. Was quite pumped about that, but yeah, very interesting. I did a lot of learning throughout this game, like how it really matters how fresh the ball is, which is very much not a thing in baseball in the absolute slightest, and just seeing how passionate the crowd was, especially from the India side, which was quite refreshing to see. It was just quite intense. Something that did bug me throughout the match, if I'm going to be super nitpicky, is the lack of replay screens. Like, you can see how far I'm zooming in. Like, yes, the MCG is massive, but I was just surprised that with the massive screens is they didn't really have much like live feed, so you could kind of see, like, you know, get a closer look of, oh, where did the ball go, or okay, that was a wicket, but, you know, tell me more about it. Like, it was harder to follow for sure. But in retrospect, I did end up going to a T20 game the next week at the MCG, and they had a lot more like live feed cameras and replay screens. Like, I just found that in the test match, most of the screens just showed the score constantly, and that was it. And if you know anything about cricket, the score doesn't change anywhere near as much. So it was an interesting choice. The drink breaks still crack me up, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I get it, they're out there all day, they deserve breaks, but it's just really interesting. Just so different coming from other sporting events that it's like, okay, it's a set time, you have a drink break, you have a lunch break, you have this and that. Oh, so funny. Next, you have to pay for a carry tray, which I don't have much of an opinion on other than I was just shocked to see it, and I'm here for it, I guess. This was really interesting when comparing to baseball, is they had a lot of areas where you could just stand, like regardless of where your tickets were, to view the cricket, which I thought was great. However, I'm not used to this in the States, at least in Yankees baseball. You actually pay for a seat or a standing spot at one of these places like this. Would love to know if this is normal for cricket and if that's just the Yankees wanting more money, which is totally possible. Got more coffee and time to explore more of the MCG. Was quite excited to have a look at all of the food options, drink options. Ended up going with a burger and fries. Ended up really enjoying it. And, you know, my favorite little ketchup packets that did take me forever to figure out when I first got to Australia. It took a bit to find, but we did finally find the main MCG shop. And yes, it was packed, but to be fair, I think we were going during a break of sorts, I can't remember, but they had a lot for the test, they had a lot for AFL, they had a lot for Big Bash, they had like a massive selection, and it definitely reminded me how many sporting events do happen at the MCG. It's not just like, oh, this is the home of this team and that is it. Although, again, I went to Big Bash and I did learn that the Renegades are based out of Marvel Stadium. And wow, that must be rough having your other Melbourne team be at a place like the MCG. But anyway, moving on. I still don't have an AFL scarf, and I am still don't plan on getting one, to be quite frank. Had a look at some more merch. I guess you can get some custom shirts, which was super fun. I didn't end up getting one, but I guess I filmed this clip because I just really wanted to point it out to everyone in case you really want to do it. It's here for you. All the different hats. I was quite surprised to see that they had like a wide range of merch. Like, it's not just like, okay, this is the home to the Melbourne Stars, so we have Melbourne Stars merch. A decent part of the stadium was blocked off for members only. I'm not super positive on the details of a membership or who can get one or how much it costs or what exactly it's for, but you did have exclusive access to a lot of areas. To be clear, I'm not a member, but that is an option for you out there if you would like that. India was batting most of this day, so a lot of people were extremely excited, and it cracked me up because the second India did anything remotely positive, it was like a massive, massive cheer. Like, everyone was so excited, which was cool to see. I made best friends with this fan that was near the section that I was in. Just had mini breaks going over to cool off because it was really hot. It wasn't as hot as I think day one of the test was supposed to be, like almost 40 degrees, but yeah, I don't do well in heat. If you watched one of my last videos at the USA food store down in Moorabbin, I did pick up some Cracker Jacks, and I was really excited to whip these out and have them at the cricket. I haven't had these in years and years and years. And of course, I had to open up my little prize, the reveal. Whoa, so cool. I thought there was a joke if I remember, but I guess they don't have them anymore. Look at me with my sunnies, sticking out the heat. You could leave the venue and go back in, which I guess makes sense considering how long the days are and if people want to come and go. But I was surprised in the sense that at first I was like, oh, okay, I could see places in the States being like, no, if you can't leave, like you have to spend all of your money and get all your food here and stuff. But anyway, you could leave the venue and go back in if you wanted. We did catch a bit of warming up before Australia batted for a little bit, if I remember correctly, at the end of this test day. And it was interesting to see the equipment they used to warm up, like kind of like a dog throwing stick, and then some people had a baseball type mitt. Just some really interesting observations that I just really wanted to tell the world. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that little commentary. Also, let me know. I'm messing around with different audio things, settings, equipment. I got like a new little microphone for Christmas that I've been testing around with. And thank you so much for your patience. I've been a bit behind editing and uploading. Life is just getting a bit crazy. I have a lot going on at work and it's a push before my family gets here in 2 weeks from the States, which is crazy. So make sure you stick around, make sure you subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you guys next time. And here's Luna, because she's the best. Okay everyone, Luna wishes you a good day.